Okay, so to refresh our memory, when you're writing an algebraic expression, there's two words that tell me to switch. If I see the word from or I see the word than, remember I'm going to switch. If I don't see those words, I'm not going to switch. Okay? So 7 more than. More is plus. So I'm going to put a plus sign. Then I have to switch. So the 7 is actually going to go behind. 7 more than the quotient. Now quotient is division. So it says n and 8. Where that and is, that is my division. Because quotient means to divide. So n, since n is first, it goes first. So n divided by 8 goes in the front. So n divided by 8 plus 7. Number 2, twice a number. Now remember, twice means 2 times. So I'm going to put 2 times, and for number, I'm going to use n. 2 times in number, and then it says cubed. Now remember, cubed is the little exponent 3, so it goes behind it. So twice the number cubed, and then you have the word decreased, which is minus, by, and see this is by, so I do not switch. So I just put the 10 back there, decreased by 10. I don't switch the order because it didn't have the word from or then. Alright, the next one, number 3, 3 times, okay? So if it's 3 times, it's a big 3. 3 times the difference, 3 times the difference up. So remember, I'm going to put parentheses, and it says a number squared and 4, close parentheses. Now, that comma, so you see it's blank and blank, close parentheses. Difference, where that and is your minus. So I have parentheses, a number squared, that's your little exponent 2. So n squared minus 4. I did not switch the order because difference of, it did not say from or than, so I didn't switch the order. A number squared minus 4, and then it also says increased by 12. Now that is outside of parentheses, so that plus 12 goes on the outside. 3 times the difference, and then inside the difference is the n squared minus 4. Alright, number 2, this time we're going to do the opposite. So we're going to take an algebraic expression and we're going to write it verbally, like how would you say it? You always start from the left, always, always, always. 3 next to that means times. So I'm gonna write mine out. So 3, and I'm gonna take up more space. 3 times m. Okay? But then I have this little exponent 2, and that's called squared. So 3 times m squared, and then I have this minus 7, so I'm gonna put minus 7. Okay, 3 times m squared minus 7. Number 5, start from the front, start from the very beginning. A 2 next to a variable means multiply. So that is 2 times. Now, instead of 2 times, I could put twice a number. I could say 2 times, or I could say twice a number. That also means 2 times. Okay? Now, this slash right here, that means divided by. Divided by. And then you have the number 5. Okay, on the bottom, start. You have 5 on the top, so it goes first. 5, that slash means divided by. Divided by a number. Okay, what do we have next? Plus. So I can just say plus, or I can say increased by. And I have 6 next to a variable, so that means times. So 6 times m. Okay, since I've already used a number, I'm going to use m this time. And the other thing that's on here that's different is that you have this exponent 3, and so you say cubed. Okay, and that's how you go from an algebraic expression to a verbal. Alright, the next thing we had to do is evaluate. Now remember, when you evaluate, plug it in, plug it in. So everywhere I see a variable, very first thing I want to do, when I see these variables, remember to put your parentheses around them. Okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and go through and do that. The exponent goes on the outside. So if you want to go through and put your parentheses around it, that will be very, very helpful. Now I'm going to clear mine off because my pencil was a little thick. But, oops, I'm going to go back and reset that. But you can leave your parentheses on there so you'll remember, all right? Now I'm going to do a little color coding right quick. Wherever I see A, I'm going to plug in a 5. So there's an A, there's an A, there's an A. Wherever I plug in B, I'm going to plug in 7. So B, B, there's no B down there. And wherever I see the letter C, I'm going to plug in a 3. So C, C, C. All right? Now, everything that I didn't highlight will stay exactly the same. Okay, now write it out first, and then we'll go to the calculator and plug it in. I'm just going to make sure that my calculator is ready. Okay, and so remember it's on a new document, and I'm going to calculator. All right, so let's write it. You always write out first, and then we go to the calculator. So start from the left. 20 minus. Now instead of B, I'm going to put the number 5 in. Instead of B, I'm going to put the 7 in. And instead of the C, I'm going to put the 3 in. Now I'm going to enter it just like that in my calculator. Okay? And then I'm going to minimize that so we can see that. Will it make me move it? Yes, it will, but I can't see. I was just going to see if I could work it that way. 20 minus 5, parentheses 7, and then parentheses 3. See, it looks just like that, and then hit enter, and your answer is negative 85. So my answer would be negative 85. But I want to see the steps. It's so important. All right, the next one, remember, always start from the left-hand side. I have 7, and then I have parentheses. A is 5, plus B is 7, parentheses, C is 3. Now that exponent 2 always goes on the outside. Always, 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 always. Okay? So, let's plug that in. Let's see, I'll plug it in over here. Okay, so on the next one we got 7, parentheses, 5, close parentheses, plus, and then you have parentheses 7, close parentheses, open parentheses, 3, close parentheses. And remember when you had the exponent 2, you just put the exponent 2 button. Now, I'm going to let you see that. See, that looks just like your problem on your paper. And then hit enter. And the answer is 98. So your answer right here is 98. Okay? The next one, so always start from the side. You have 1/3, which is a fraction, parentheses. A is 5, close parentheses, minus 4, parentheses, C is 3, close parentheses. Now, when you do that 1/3, you've got to be tricky how you enter it. Okay? So, and I do need to minimize this so I can see the problem. Okay. So I'm going to make that fraction first. Control divide makes that fraction 1/3. Arrow over. So you've got 1/3. You can see it. And then that cursor's all the way down. Parentheses 5, close parentheses, minus 4 parentheses, and then it was a 3, close parentheses. Now, so you can see that it looks just like the problem. Enter, and you have a fraction. Now, you can put negative 31/3, because the world does have fractions, or you can hit Control, Enter, and it changes it to a decimal for you. So since there were 3's repeating, I can say negative 10.3 repeating. Or I can say negative 31/3, that improper fraction, or you can just put negative 10.3. A lot of times they'll round it to the nearest 10th place, and since the 3 is less than 5, I'm going to keep it at 3. So any of these would be appropriate, and you can write your answers either as a fraction or as a decimal. All right, simplify. Now remember, when we simplify, you want to look for like terms. So this first thing I have is 6x. Now I have to have an x that has an exponent 1. This one does not match. This one, yes, it matches. So I'm going to look at what's in front of it. Okay, so in the calculator, I'm actually going to enter 6 minus 10 in the calculator. Okay, so 6 minus 10. oops, I did the wrong thing. I did 11. 6 minus 10, and you get negative 4. That's the same thing as saying 6 plus a negative 10. That's the same thing. 6 minus 10, 6 plus a negative 10 are the exact same thing. So that is going to be negative 4, and then that x term comes over, x to the first. That's going to stay the same. That's not going to change. Now, I have used those two, so I will not use them again. What is left? I have plus 5x squared. So I'm going to put that beside it, plus 5x squared. I cannot combine x to the first and x to the second because they have different exponents. They are not alike. So that's my final answer. On number 12, what's unique on this problem is I have parentheses. Now remember, when you have a number next to parentheses, that means that you are going to multiply. Okay? And I have to multiply the 4 with everything inside the parentheses, with both. Everything that's inside the parentheses. So I'm going to multiply the 4 with the 3x. Okay? So that's like saying 4 times 3. So you would do that. 4 times 3 is 12, and I've got to bring that x down. The other thing I've got to multiply the 4 is the 4 times, now this is a negative 7. So that's like saying 4 times negative 7. I also have to do that. So if you need to, do it on your calculator. 4 times negative 7, close parentheses. So you get negative 28. I can do it with the times sign. 4 times negative 7. It doesn't matter. You still get negative 28. So that negative 28 is like saying minus 28. And there is not a variable, so I don't put a variable there. And I can't go any further because the 12 has an x, the 28 does not. So I'm done. I'm finished. Okay, on 13. So there's some multiple steps on this. Notice on 3w, it is not by parentheses, and the 4 is by parentheses. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring down that 3w. Okay, so we're going to have to do some steps on this 3w. Now, that negative 4 is by the parentheses, and so remember that means to multiply. So I have to multiply negative 4 times 2. So you have to do negative 4 times that to the. Okay, so negative 4 times 2. So negative 4 times 2, and you get negative 8. So that is going to be, I'm going to write it right here, negative 8v. Okay? The next thing you have to do, and if you want to cross them off as you go, that's fine. Negative 4 times negative 3y. So negative 4 times negative 3y. I just want you to see what I'm doing. Negative 4 times negative 3y. So on your calculator, negative 4 times negative 3, and then I'm going to bring the y down. So that's a positive 12. Since it's a positive 12, I'm going to put plus 12, and then I have to bring down that y. So a negative times a negative is a positive. Okay? Now there's one more thing in there. Look, inside the parentheses there's one more. So I have to do negative 4 times z. So that's like saying negative 4 times a positive 1. Well, negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. So that is negative 4, so that's minus 4z. Okay? Now, I'm just going to separate that right there so you can see. Okay. I have distributed the negative 4. There were 3 things inside the parentheses, so I had 3 things once I multiplied. Now, I'm going to look at my variables. I'm going to see if any of them are alike. I have a w, a v, a y, and a z. They are all different. So since they're all different, I cannot go any further. So my final answer is that right there. I cannot go any further because all the variables are the same. Okay, so I'm going to stop. That's it, because all my variables are different. All right, one more. So I'm going to distribute first because there's parentheses. So anytime you see parentheses, you're going to multiply. Negative 3 times 4 is negative 12y. Negative 3 times a positive 6 is a negative 18. On the other side, I have parentheses, so I have to multiply again. But this is a negative 7. So negative 7 times 3. Okay, make sure you do negative 7 times 3. That's a negative 21y. And then you have negative 7 times a negative 2. A negative times a negative is a positive 14x. Now look at this one. Do I have anything that's the same? Here's a Y and here's a Y. So I'm going to put those two things together. In the